Hi, I'm James and thanks for tuning in to eBuyer. In this video, I'm going to be taking a look at the Neutron Lab Sphere gaming PC case. With eye-catching designs, high-quality components and affordable price points, the Neutron Lab range specialise in cases and peripherals, as well as monitors like the one behind me. This case is actually a really interesting chassis with a full mesh panel at the front, lots of RGB and a standard ATX form factor, with of course tempered glass. Let's unbox the case first off and then look at some of the key features, functionality and what you should really look out for in your next gaming PC build. I've actually gone ahead and powered the case up so you can see that RGB, and first impressions are really strong. I've actually built in this case before over on my own YouTube channel, which we'll link below, and I'm a huge fan of this mesh divided front panel. So you can see here we've got the plastic on the right hand side and the mesh on the left, giving us plenty of airflow but also good aesthetics. The RGB on the front is also a really cool addition. The mesh is actually edge lit by addressable RGB LEDs, which looks awesome. There's lots of different RGB modes available as well, so you can cycle through different aesthetics, or even connect up to your motherboard and synchronize for system-wide effects. You get a large tempered glass side panel, which can be easily removed with 2 thumb screws at the rear of the case. And this is very slightly tinted, but actually fairly clear, allowing you to see into your system and behold the beast you have put together. We've also got a power supply shield at the bottom here. As you can see, we have just popped in a temporary power supply to power up the RGB with a rear 120mm addressable RGB fan. This will give you plenty of airflow to keep your system nice and cool. Overall, build quality feels good. You've got these nice magnetic dust filters. These are going to be great for filtering the intake of air and keeping dust out the system, making sure everything runs quiet, cool, and efficient. You've got plenty of cable management options as well. The grommets aren't actually rubberized, which is fine. That's a feature of more budget cases on the market, though Neutron Labs have a wide range of chassis available, some with more features than others. Overall though, the standard ATX form factor is good. You get a raised center case standoff. This will hold the motherboard in place when you put the system together, something we'll be doing on the channel very soon, so get subscribed for that if you aren't already. Moving on to the top of the case, and this is where you'll find the I/O ports. This is all the connectivity you'll have at easy reach. USB 3, USB 2, audio, RGB and power. Nice and simple, but nice and efficient. Remember, of course, you'll have even more I/O at the back of the case on the rear of the motherboard, and these are intended to just be quick, easy access ports that still give you the full bandwidth, but are just a little bit easier to reach. You can also go ahead and remove the rear panel, and this will give you even better access to the chassis. Once again, it is a simple case of removing the 2 thumb screws and sliding the panel off a little something like this. You'll see all of your front panel cables are nicely organised alongside a bag of included accessory screws. This includes extra standoffs, motherboard screws, power supply screws, everything you could possibly need is in this bag. One great feature of this case is actually the integrated RGB hub. Not only does this allow you to control the RGB that comes as standard at the front and at the rear, but it allows you to add in more addressable RGB fans from universal manufacturers, as well as extra fan power connectors. This allows for fine-tuned control over lots and lots of different fans and makes cable management easier, because all your fan cables can come to the rear of the case and plug up to the motherboard with one cable, rather than trying to run everything directly. The I/O, as you can see, just sits at the top of the case here, with a good bit of cable management room as well. You've got plenty of clearance at the rear to run your cables, power cables, data cables, all that good stuff for a clean build aesthetic. It is worth noting at the bottom there's a power supply cage. We'll pop some footage of this on your screen as it's currently filled with our power cables, but this can be used to store a hard drive, while you've also got SSD mounting support at the rear of the case as well for the 2.5-inch drives out there. A couple of things to note include a motherboard power connector kind of run and a CPU power connector run at the top as well. This is something often overlooked on super budget chassis, whereby you have to run the CPU power cable across the motherboard. It doesn't look very good, but this case has covered that off nicely. Build quality feels good as well. The panels are nice and thick. You've got very minimal flex, while the inclusion of captive thumb screws means that you're not going to lose the screws which are used to secure the side panel into place. Really easy, really simple stuff, and pretty much everything you could want really from a mid-range chassis at a more budget price point. Once again, the RGB integration at the front is a huge highlight for me, while you've also got support for 3 120mm fans or a 360mm radiator. To learn more about the exact specifications of this chassis with full fan, water cooling, motherboard and graphics card cooling support, you can find that linked in the description of this YouTube video over at ebuyer.com. This is a really versatile case with plenty of cooling options, a really high quality finish, and overall a great price point. And with that, that pretty much wraps it up for my first look at the Neutron Lab Sphere gaming PC case. Thank you once again for tuning into eBuyer, and as always, we'll see you soon.